Hi everyone. So today we're going to be focusing on the skill I can determine the author's tone within a text. So that's really going to tie in with the author's craft, how an author chooses to write the article or the story that they have written. So what I'd like you to do right now, you're going to have your Into Reading book out and you're going to open that up to page 30. So on page 30, we're going to be finishing up the story. And then I'd also like you to have your author's craft exit ticket at the ready. So you can open that up in a new tab. If you would prefer to use the online version of the story, you can do that. We're just going to look for the page that looks like this, and it's going to be finishing the story. So we're going to start by reading, and as we're thinking or as we're listening, we're going to keep doing what we have been this whole time. We're going to be taking at least one notice and note on this page. So it can be what you're thinking, what it's making you wonder, a question that you might have. You're going to be writing something down that has to do with this page. And then we'll talk a little bit more about author's craft and tone and what that's all about. The gates. Some statistics. Christo and Jean-Claude became familiar with every inch of the 23 miles of paths their gates traversed. Most of the gates were sighted and then spaced 12 feet apart, but sometimes an overhanging branch or low-growing tree made an adjustment necessary. Not even one branch was trimmed. Tree roots were avoided and rock formations were respected. All proceeds from the sale of posters, mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and other memorabilia went to support nature protection foundations. Chief Engineer and Director of Construction, Vince Davenport. Project Director, Juanita Davenport. To put up the 7,503 gates took the following materials, which were manufactured to Christo and Jean-Claude's exacting specifications. 7,503 gates, 16 feet high. The width varies from 5 feet 6 inches to 18 feet, depending on the width of the path. 315,491 linear feet of recyclable saffron-colored vinyl tubing to make the 5-inch square vertical and horizontal poles. 5,290 tons of steel to make 15,006 steel bases that weighed 600 to 800 pounds each to make certain that the gate was stable. 15,006 cast aluminum corner reinforcements, 165,000 bolts and self-locking nuts, 116,389 miles of saffron nylon thread to make 46 miles of hems, 7,503 panels made of woven nylon, a highly reflective synthetic fabric. So, what I'd like you to do right now, you're going to take a moment and you're going to stop and reflect on this page. So, one thing that you might want to ask of yourself is, how do Christo and Jean-Claude feel about nature? Based on this page, what do you think you can infer about how they feel about nature based on some of the different components, possibly looking at paragraph 27, to really get an idea of what are some things that they might feel about nature? You can pause the video right now as you're writing, and then what I'd like you to do is you're going to turn to page 27 in your books, and then you're going to have your author's craft exit ticket at the ready, and then we're going to take a look at the author's craft anchor chart. So if you need to pause and then start it back up, that is totally fine. So when we're talking about author's craft, it's the language and techniques a writer uses to make his or her writing interesting and to communicate ideas to the reader. So when we're talking about the tone of an article or of a book, we're talking about the combination of two different components. So we're really looking at voice and mood together. So when we talk about the author's voice, it's the author's writing style that makes his or her writing unique. An author's voice may change depending on the genre of the text. And then mood are the emotions and feelings of the reader while reading a text. So, for example, a mystery story, you might have feelings of suspense or surprise. If it's fantasy, you might have wonder or excitement. If it's an article, you might be really thoughtful and you might be serious depending on what the topic is. So when we combine those two, that's the tone of the article. And that's really what the author is trying to have you feel, and the words that they chose to in their writing to help you feel that different mood. So we're going to look on page, on page 27. Okay, and we're specifically going to look down here at paragraph 20. So what I'd like you to do is, as I'm rereading this paragraph, you're going to think about, what does this paragraph make you feel? What emotions are the authors really trying to get you to feel? And what kind of words do they choose to help you understand that? And that's going to really help us understand the author's tone of this article. The weather affects the way we experience the gates. On some days, the sky is flat and gray, and the fabric panels hang solidly against the dark sky. On other days, the sky is blue and the wind is blowing. The panels flap and wave and seem to glitter in the bright light. Rain, snow, sunshine, each change in the weather gives us a new view of the work. So tone is really going to help us understand the author's attitude toward a subject. So in this paragraph, you're going to be thinking about, how do you think that the author of this piece feels about the subject, the gates? So what I'd like you to do right now is you're going to underline words and phrases that helps you understand how the author feels about the subject, the artwork. And then you're going to go over to our author's craft exit ticket. So author's craft is the tone of a text is the author's attitude towards its subject or characters. An author's tone can be conveyed through the use of voice, style, and word choice. So right now you're going to answer the question about author's tone in Christo and Jean-Claude, Through the Gates and Beyond. So the first question that you're going to answer is, what words do the authors use to indicate how they feel about their subject, the artwork? So you're going to go specifically into paragraph 20, and you're going to choose some words or phrases that help you understand how the author feels about this artwork. So then I'd like you to you underline those words and then write them in question number 1. Then the next question is, what words would you use to describe the tone of the writing in paragraph 20? So do you think that the author has an angry tone? Do you think that they have a suspenseful tone? Do you think that they have an excited tone or an inspired tone? So you're really going to think about what kind of words really help you understand the feelings of the author towards this subject. And then question 3, what words could you change to change the tone? What would your new tone be? So you're going to imagine that you're going to change the tone of this writing. So you're going to tell me what tone it is that you would like to write in. So it could be angry. It could be suspenseful. It could be magical. So think about what tone you would like to change it to, and then what words would you have to change in order to change the tone? So what you could do is you could rewrite 1 or 2 sentences with different words to show this new tone. So you're going to give me what the tone is that you're going for, and then you're going to edit the work. You don't have to rewrite this whole paragraph, but you could choose 1 or 2 sentences to rewrite to show the new tone. So once you're done filling this out, you can hit submit, and then you're done with your ELA work for the day.